that we have worked on that we know have never been tried. Therefore, it's an option that's on the table. So what we are really grappling with here is how we can turn the global presence of Africans into an economic strength as well as a cultural strength. Before I get into that, I want to mention quickly, it's not a plug, this is just an information. I just received a text from Tobago. This place is called The Naturalist. It's a wonderful little island. We've asked them to send children to the United States in July. We are hosting children from various parts of Africa, from 11 to 15 years of age. We have several programs which we call cultural enrichment program for them. We're going to be mixing them with African kids here. That's African American. I'd never use the term. African is African, and that's one people. That's who we are. So we're going to mix them with African kids here, and we are trying to get some kids from the Caribbean. What they told me is that they cannot afford bringing the kids here because the program and the kids will cost about roughly $2,000 for about 3 weeks. So they asked me if I could extend the opportunity to people here who would support them. We have just about 5 of them only, some people who could sponsor them, and they would in return give discounts for their hotels in those little islands. They're fantastic places. I just wanted to put that out there. It's a very good program. I want you all to please support it. So
send me a note, send us a note about that so I can incorporate it into the notes.
Sounds fantastic. Thank you. So I was privileged to make a presentation, make an investment, an economic presentation in Trinidad and Tobago last year. I told you when I was going. And it was at the Central Bank of Trinidad and Tobago. It has to do with how we can do trade and investment promotions between Africa and the Caribbean and the United States. So having been tasked with that, I have a very extensive background in economics and financing. And before I left it for our cause, so I decided to examine the problem, what the challenges really are. Obviously, we can look from historical context, but I realize that even if we have historical context which is now diluted, how does it reflect itself in today's terms? So we looked at all the trading partners of all the various Caribbean countries as well as the African countries, and we realized that their trading partners are, forgive me, my mouth gets really dry because of this, but we realized that all the trading partners are the big countries, the Western countries, etc., and China, and all of them across the board. And of course, we have to understand what that means. That's really what dictates how you do what you do. I mean, this is the people who are employing you. And you've also got to understand that the reason this is the case, of course, is based on colonial terms, but also the reason is some of the things that were well articulated before, that all the resources of the land are controlled by interventionists, okay? So, given those circumstances, and this is a very tough area to delve into, we have no power, we don't even get close to it, to negotiate those terms. It is important that you understand that. Those resources, we could write books and talk intelligence from A to Z. We're not going to get close to that because it is not run by rationality. So what we have done is to look for alternative terms. And what we thought is, there's a very interesting African proverb when the chief calls the whole people to kill all their mothers and take his own mother to heaven. It's a very interesting thing, and that's exactly what Britain is practicing. Britain did not get rid of its monarch, and Britain got rid of all the African monarchs and all the monarch systems that are within its colonial realms. So During colonialism, when they ran into the problem of actually getting the loyalty of having authority over the people, they incorporated some selective kingdoms and kingships. So, and they worked terms out with them in order to be able to manage people. Now, all of that has changed today. Working through African government is okay, and we've been doing it for a long time, or any other government for that matter, and we can continue to do that. But there is a very unique opportunity to working with kings of Africa, because one thing, they don't leave office in 4 years. They are still the controllers of the land. So they have a very substantial power. The reason that over the years, over the 60 years period of independence, why those people were not incorporated in the system is because most of them were not that educated. Well, that has changed today, where most of the kings have attended Harvard and so on and so forth. So they're very well educated. So what we're doing is bringing these chiefs, bringing these kings here to the United States. And especially those of them who have tremendous insight and plans for incorporating the African strengths in America into their system. They have wonderful plans of how we can begin to forge economic relationship, which I think would be a very good vehicle into uniting us, because that's where it starts. I will mention that amongst ourselves, it's a very difficult thing because it's hard to trust ourselves. There's so many issues. We tried to create a credit union for the African diaspora, which is a very new challenge in America. But when that plan went to the Caribbean, we instituted it in just 1 month. It was a wonderful thing. And it's important to see how we can begin to position our strengths. The Africans are very good thinkers. The Caribbeans are very good managers. And the Americans are wonderful salespeople. So if we begin to align ourselves proportionally, there's a whole lot we can achieve together, you know, other than mix matching ourselves. So the kings are going to be here. They come in 2017, but fortunately, again, forgive me, my voice is so dry. They are going to be here in June 10th. They're going to be here for quite a period of time, maybe 2 weeks. But we have a program for them on June 10th, which I would recommend that we get to meet them and get to hear them out, because they have some spectacular plan which I would love to share with you before the program. The program they have at the UN is called Global Economic Forum. So just put that in mind and put it in perspective for a minute. We bring in these are the Yoruba kings, and there's a reason the Yoruba kings are coming. The plan actually extends all over Africa. We have the Union of we have the Royal Council of East Africa. We have the Kabaka already signed up for this program. We have the Ghanaians already on the table. We have the Nigerians. We have the Kenyans. The Maasai kings are interested. We are speaking to the South Africans. We ask the Congolese. They love this program. They want to be part of it. So I think it is very important for us as a people, who they are looking up to figure out a way. To figure out a way where we can engage them, we can meet them halfway. They have programs. They are offering lands to people. I don't want to tell you that, and don't make that the only issue why you go there. But they are offering tangible. They're making tangible offering as incentives for us to come to meet them, for you to be part of this process. They are welcoming all African people, and these people are, you know, they're Pan-Africanists, if you will. I mean, they're people like us, and we are at that time now where these people are apologies. So, thank you, that helps. So they're going to be here on June 10th, and I want us to really rise to the occasion to support them and to show them that we are willing and we're ready, and we want to hear them out, and we are able to help them to construct whatever it is that they envision. and even help them to improve it. So I wanted to put that on the table. Allow me to please add one more thing that I think is incredibly important. On the Haiti issue, Haiti is very, very close to my heart, as you know, sir. We've worked very hard with the AU, and we've been trying this 6-region business for a long time. It's very annoying to me. You saw my email. Yeah. It's very annoying to me, and I think we should really take this very seriously. For me, when Haiti decided to join the AU, it was the master chess move.
Yes.
It was a killer move. You know, I thought this was the most brilliant idea since, you know, sliced bread. I'm just saying whatever people say. But in that sense, it was a great move. And what did the African Union do? Just a few days later, they're declaring that they are rejecting Haiti's inception into the AU. I told them, you saw in my letter, that I would circumvent, I would fight them if I have to do it singly. Because it was a stab in my heart. If they do not put that into consideration, if they do not bring scholars to the table to discuss the importance of Haiti in the AU. And there's a reason this is very important. One of the conclusions of my presentation at the Central Bank is that nothing is so much more important today than an African Union CARICOM summit to discuss the challenges that we face as a people and to discuss how we can begin to work together and how we can begin to build economic relationships. Now this is very, very crucial because just nearly 2 years ago, Barack Obama, our president, pulled off his summit, which is called the US-Africa Leadership Summit. I was there in DC to witness all of this unfolding. It was co-opted by Bloomberg. They brought together all the leaders of Africa, except Mugabe, of course, with all the Fortune 500 leaders of the world here in America. And they put them in a room, and they, you know what, Bloomberg said, stand up, everybody. And they did. He said, look at the man next to you, shake his hand, and introduce yourself. He humanized them. And he told them, you guys got to talk business. They put $40 billion on the table, the US government, and they said, we have support for you. They have various programs like this. Now, these governments are going to do the same thing that they've been doing before. We know that. And we're talking about sharks from here. This is just their nature. It doesn't mean if you're African or whatever, or Marsman. That's just what they can do. That's what they do best. They do it within amongst themselves. We're just way too vulnerable for them. It's too easy to deal with us. So it is, instead of focusing on who they are, what they are, we need to really look inside of ourselves and rebuild our strength and figure out how we put together this jigsaw puzzle to create a real good vision for what we want, who we are today and what we want to be tomorrow and what we have to do that. Now, just to conclude this quickly, the same Barack Obama went to the Latin America, the Caribbean summit. It is out of that summit, that the reunification of Cuba came into the table. I met the people of Cuba in Trinidad, and they explained all of this to me. It's a phenomenal story. Now, we've seen some improvement there. Barack Obama in the office is a very good opportunity, but nonetheless, he's torn apart by various interests. So a lot is within us to do, and a lot we can do. So as we progress, I think one of the most important things anyway, just to really put this on the table, is to push all our effort to make sure that we have an African Union and the CARICOM Summit. I think that will change the game for us. I thank you very much.
Thank you.
Elder Brown, there's a seat at the table now. You don't have to sit in the corner there.
All right, I wasn't sure I was being, anyway.
That was Susan Taylor calling. I hate to answer that. Yes.
Right, in terms of having a declaration of principles for foreign investment in Africa, this should really be very brief. These are just some bullet points that make sense to me and others. One, I'll read it and I'll talk about it, each one. Economic development of Africa in a manner that avoids the pollution problems generated by the Industrial Revolution in Europe and the Americas. All right. We all hear about things like